Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 28th of February, 2025. Coming up with this episode of the Crusty podcast, episode 345, unhinged on both sides of the border. That's right. Donald Trump chewing out Zelensky and, of course, Charlie Angus, NDP MP, calling everyone who disagrees with him a fascist. Oh my, what's the world coming to? A lot of ungrateful people out there, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues, and life. Here's Crusty.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, episode 345 of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Listener and viewer discretion is advised because I will swear, smoke cigarettes, and make fun of these leaders as we speak. How are you, everyone? Hope you've had a good couple of days. I've been busy the past couple of days. Had some real issues at work. Well, not issues at work, but just working too damn hard. And if you like and hear what you see, please click like, subscribe, share this podcast all over your social media platforms too. Do not be shy, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's been an interesting week in Canadian politics, I have to say. This has also been brought to you in part by and supported by Veterans Freedom Network. That's right, Stand 2, Veterans for Freedom. And coming soon, Veterans for Freedom TV. More information will be coming in the little while. Anyway, like I said, Santa Cruz says 345. Angry Angus, whatever, unhinged on both sides of the border. So, big news today is that Donald Trump has chewed out President Zelensky from Ukraine there. Now, I'm going to play a little video here for you in a bit. But regardless of how you personally feel about the war in Ukraine, now, I'm always for the little guy. I don't care if it's a fight, if it's a hockey game. I'm always for the little guy to an extent because you want to see the underdog win. Okay? But this war has been raging now 3 years. 3 years, and the UN has stepped in. Europe has stepped in. Canada has stepped in. And the United States have stepped in. A lot of countries have helped Ukraine out too, and they're not getting any traction. A lot of money's gone here, a lot of money's gone there, and there's speculation of big bank accounts just all of a sudden appearing, people getting rich. So that's warfare for you. That's nothing new. That's been going on since the dawn of time, when two warring factions are at odds, or three factions or four factions. Someone's always getting rich. Now, when you look at the whole Ukraine issue, there's lots of information out there about what they said, what she said, what he said, what they said, who owns what land, who is entitled to it, historically speaking. Excuse me. It's just a big dog's breakfast. Now, I want you to watch what Donald Trump says and what Zelensky says and what J.D. Vance says, Trump's vice president. Okay, and I'll get to Charlie Angus there. Shortly there too. He's got an interesting thing to say about the war in Ukraine, and I'll let you decide too. But it's just interesting on how the world is so shocked that Donald Trump is standing up for American interests, as any president should or any prime minister should. Okay, you've heard me ramble on about how Donald Trump is getting sick and tired of European countries, and especially Canada, using them for the sake of NATO and defense. And you have to admit, ladies and gentlemen, that Canada has been pretty slack and idle when it comes to defending this country. Okay. I know, because I spent 20 years in the service, and I've served with other men who have observed and speculated that too, and people before us, and instructors, and so on, since the better part of 1968. So when you get people clenching their pearls and sitting in their hands and going, oh my God, how dare Donald Trump say that? You have to see where he's coming from a defensive point of view. Okay. How much aid do you have to keep giving to these countries that are at each other's throats? Okay. Should you not try to negotiate a peace deal? Was there not a peace deal try to be negotiated until some UN officials and Boris Johnson got involved when Boris Johnson was PM of the UK? Huh? Was there not some kind of agreement that was in the works and it was kiboshed by the West? Well, let me know. What do you think? Was something in the works? Well, or is something scarier afoot? We'll have to see, but I'll cue up this video here, ladies and gentlemen, and I want you to decide. Okay, I want you to really listen to what they have to say in the few minutes where there's the exchange there. There's a full-length video. I think CBS News has it. I haven't queued up the video, but you know, you don't need much. You don't need much to see what exactly is going on here. Okay, especially when it comes to the exchange between President Trump, J.D. Vance, and President Vladimir Zelensky. I'll leave the closed captions on for you guys to read along if you can't hear it. So just observe carefully, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what
Remember
you're
this.
doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel
I'm-
very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right
From
about
the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I
You don't
was-
have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives of
in war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
What do you think
You're
about-
gambling with
what do you
World
think
War
about-
III. And
Yeah.
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
I'm very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States
what
of
are you speaking
America
about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can-
trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn
We-
good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank-
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and your
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I
Accept-
said a lot of
accept
times
that there-
thank you
accept
to
that-
American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are
I
dying.
can tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a
But I
ceasefire.
said to you.
I want a
With
ceasefire
guarantees.
because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
is-
with me.
It
That was with
wasn't you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your-
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
Yeah, you see that, ladies and gentlemen, just fantastic. Um, really, you can see the look in his face that the man was getting angry. Now, I'm not going to be totally supportive of the whole Trump issue here, but he's got a very, very valid point. It's like it's all in the cards. You don't have the cards. Okay, the odds are not in your favor. So we got to come to some kind of agreement here, or something bad is going to happen. And in a way, he was kind of threatening the president too, right? You don't know what the future is. You don't know what the future is. Well, do you know what the future is? A lot of us here in Canada, and of course, some of my friends in the States have worried about a third world war. Okay, worried about something coming if something isn't done properly, right? If two big kids start pushing each other in the block, more and more people are going to get involved. And then what? Then what have you got? You got unnecessary battles, and then more battles lead to this and lead to that, and then who knows? You might have World War III. So the people out there that are so supportive of the Ukraine war, okay, how much more are you going to give? How much more should be sacrificed when we're stuck here in Canada with our pants down and nothing to defend ourselves with? Something to think about.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, episode 345, Unhinged on Both Sides of the Border. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. And just a reminder, too, if you like what you see, click like, subscribe, share this podcast, all over social media platforms. Do not be shy, too, if you see this premiered. Please give me a thumbs up, give me some comments, let me know where you're writing from. I don't care anywhere in the world. I don't care if you're in Britain, if you're in Africa, if you're watching the Philippines, Cuba, anywhere in the world. Let me know where you're watching the premiere from, ladies and gentlemen. So, here's my thing on Trump. Now, I'm not going to scream and yell and stomp my feet and get all mad about the tariffs, because the tariff issue, as far as I'm concerned, was brought on by our own government who want a tariff war. Okay. Now, Jagmeet Singh and both Charlie Angus have put in a petition to get rid of Elon Musk's citizenship. Okay. This country is sitting on some economic downfall, and their biggest claim to fame is they want to put a petition to relinquish someone's citizenship, even though Mr. Musk has nothing to do with our politics, whatever, or whatsoever. You know, his mother, I think, was born in Regina, so he has that Canadiana there. I think he studied at Queen's University, I think, in Kingston, if I'm not mistaken. Is that where Queens is? I'm not exactly sure. But you get these politicians that are making 200,000 plus a year worry about pulling someone's citizenship because they just don't agree with their politics. Okay. That's the state of our so-called blue collar heroes that represent the blue collar workers in this country. Okay. Now, I never voted NDP in my life for the very, very simple reason is that they're nothing like Tommy Douglas. Okay. They're not really standing for the working class. They toot the horn of working class and blow smoke signals up our butts. They collect a nice paycheck. And Mr. Jagmeet Singh now has his pension because he's qualified for it. Isn't that nice, everybody? And his biggest claim this year is trying to get Mr. Elon Musk's citizenship revoked, because I think he's South African, Canadian, and American, if I'm not mistaken. So he has 3 citizenships. Okay. So can you say deflection? Can you say crack don't smoke itself? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to play a little video here from Mr. Charlie Angus. Okay. He was at a protest recently at the Russian consulate in Ottawa, and listen to his language and how he talks. Okay. Now, there's something there about his 2 uncles that he so proudly boasts about. Okay. But I will cue this up for you, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you all to decide on your own, as always, just to make sense of this whole fiasco, because you're seeing the unhingement on both sides of the border, as the title card says, right? Okay. And you, my wonderful audience, you decide and listen to this asshat carefully. Okay.
This is Mr. Angus. How you doing today?
Hey man, how you doing?
We got some questions.
We certainly do.
See you here. We're hoping to see some protest.
A little bit of a photo op here.
And we're hoping that we're going to see some peace forthwith.
Absolutely. As soon as Putin is put in jail as an international war criminal, we'll get all the peace you want.
We're not going to have peace until then.
What, you support war criminals? Go ahead.
I want the war to stop.
Criminals. Yeah, go on. Fuck off, Putin troll.
Dude,
Putin troll.
Nothing to do with Putin.
Yes, you do. If you don't stand with Ukraine, then you're a fascist.
Okay.
So don't waste
Do you
my
think
time
it's this-
talking.
do you think
Say
it's
right to
this-
the camera again.
Do you think it's fascistic to threaten to take away Canadian citizenship because you don't agree with their political leaning? Do you think that's appropriate?
Yeah.
What-
Convoy troll.
What about political violence, sir? You're a well-known supporter of Antifa. I have been the victim of
Yeah,
this.
you know Antifa?
Yes.
My uncles fought fascists all over Europe. They'd fight your fascists.
So you support the violent Antifa mobs in Ottawa. I have been the victim of violence from them. I was jumped
Because you're a moron.
because I'm a war. So you're saying I deserve the violence from
No, I
Antifa?
think you're a
I was
Putin
jumped,
troll.
robbed, and beaten.
Ooh, you're a Putin troll.
I was jumped, robbed, and
Fuck
beaten in a
off,
park.
Putin troll. Fuck off,
Do you think
Putin
that's
troll.
appropriate
Fuck
comment?
off, Putin troll. Yeah, you stand outside the Russian embassy and repeat
came here
Putin's talking
specifically to
points.
see you.
Fuck off,
I came
Putin
here
troll.
for you. You and your party, actually, Peter Julian called me an extremist in the House of Commons.
Yeah,
He
you
said
are.
my watermark is extremist without
You are an
evidence.
extremist.
How so? Can you provide any evidence
Yeah,
to
you're
that, sir?
standing outside here supporting Putin, you fucking
I came here to confront you on your terrible policy. I want to know why you think it's appropriate to strip citizens of citizenship.
Money we gave Ukraine, are there going to be assurances that we're going to get our money back too, or is that a grant? Was that a grant? I
Get a
retired when
job.
I was young. I made my money before I was 30. I don't need a job, okay? My job is dealing with you.
Yeah, you're a
My job
you're a
is dealing with you.
fascist.
Are
You're
we
a
going to get our money
fascist.
back?
You're a fascist.
So your answer is no, we're not getting our money back. Let me ask you this. Do you support Ukraine going into NATO? What about NATO?
I support Ukraine.
You think they
I
should be in
support
NATO?
Ukraine.
I want to hear you say you think they should be in NATO.
Who supports Putin fascist? You're a Putin fascist.
You didn't say that. Do you think they should be in
Blah,
NATO?
blah, 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 blah,
You know
blah,
why?
blah.
You know why you asked that question? Because you're
They yell fascist as they suck this man.
in NATO. Do you support them in NATO? You don't. Yeah, you know you don't. Why don't you? I'm a fascist because I want to stop the war today. Yeah, that's genius. You're a genius. You're a genius. Say it again, genius. That's so smart. That is so rational. Look at this irrationality. Warmonger. That's warmongering. You're a warmonger. Yes, sir. I'm against it. You can't stop the war today. Stop the war machine. Stop the war machine. That's me. We want peace.
I would like all the dying to stop.
I'll just leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. That was just horrendous. Special thanks to Chris Dacey for Dacey Media there too. Thank you very much, my friend, for sharing that with us. And excuse me, allow me to use that without your permission. My apologies, but can you say conduct unbecoming, calling everyone a fascist and a troll? Now, did you get the part where you said my two uncles fought fascism? And yet you're promoting socialism, and fascism is based on socialism. So, which is it, fucky? Okay, now, when I hear these elected officials toot some kind of virtue, okay, let me ask you, Chuck, okay, Charlie, let me ask you, where the fuck have you been to justify that kind of behavior? Have you actually seen a war? You know what happens in a war? People die. Okay? There's bullets, there's bangs, there's spangs and crashes and smashes, machine guns, rifle fire, grenades. Oh my. Okay? You sit here and you wave those flags proudly like you're doing the world a fucking favor. Okay. You're an elected official from Timmins, James Bay, Ontario. Okay. You, sir, are an advocate for anti-oil. You don't want any more oil. You also put in a private member's bill last year prior to you announcing your retirement from politics, where you want to make it fucking illegal for people to advertise oil or talk about fossil fuels in a public spectrum. Okay? You did that, sir, and you want to make it a criminal offense for anyone to speak about it. Now, I'm familiar with the Timmins area. It's pretty fucking cold there this time of year. Okay? You're talking Northern Ontario, bush country, lots of snow, bears, the odd cougar, maybe. They say there is, there isn't, who knows? But it's a part of Canadiana that creates all the stories, and all the Farley Mowat aficionados in there. It's bush country. It's cold. I did some training up there in the military, so I have some pretty cold winters. Now, fossil fuels would keep a lot of people up in that area nice and warm and toasty. not wood and coal like they did back in the olden days, right? But you've been in politics now 20 years, and you're also one of the first ones next to Jagmeet Singh, okay, who does not like Pierre Poilievre because he's a 20-year politician. Okay, what's your fucking excuse, Chuck? Now, you have done some charitable work for the First Nations, which is noted, admirable. You've done some charitable work for this group and that group. And you used to be an old kind of punk rocker back in the day. Okay. But you're 62 years old. You're sitting there waving the flag, pointing fingers at people that want to lay down their lives, and some people who have laid down their lives for this country. And you have the audacity to call us fascists. Now, if I was on that street with Mr. Chris Dacey, I could tell you this right now, Chuck, I'd be in a cell because I'd punch you right in the fucking mouth. I would. I'd lay you the fuck out. But I'm entitled, you're entitled to free speech. You are. And I'm an advocate for free speech, and I have said that time and time again. But that tone you used, the way you talk to people, is belittling and demeaning. You want to support a war in Europe. You want to support death in Europe. You want to wave the Ukraine flag and maybe a little maple leaf here and there too, and pretend you back up our boys when they did the Four Nations Cup. You don't have the guts to support the industry in this country. You don't have the goddamn gall to support real workers, people that want to put food on their table, especially people that work in the energy industry. Okay? You don't have that capacity. How can someone from that part of Ontario not want to use fossil fuel? Really? How can someone who lives in that area not advocate the use of fossil fuel? Because the only way to keep warm in the wintertime, if you don't use fossil fuels, is wood and coal, if you can find some. If not, then it's wood. You see what I'm getting at here, Chuck? Okay? And just the way you gallivant and start pointing fingers at people. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. Like, I probably would be spending a night in jail for assault if I was talking to you in the street. Just that blatant ignorance. Like, honestly, who the fuck do you think you are? You're an elected official. You're representing that riding, and you're talking to people like that. Well, just really, once again, ladies and gentlemen, some people's kids.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 345, Unhinged on Both Sides of the Border, and here in my studio. Of course, anyway, I am Crusty Canuck. Thanks for sticking around once again. Thank you all out there to all my new comments and to the new subscribers I have for listening to Discovery. Thank you very much. And a special announcement, one of my favorite artists and her fiance have tied the knot. So congratulations to Nina and Oliver. Thank you very much for making great music. And congratulations on your wedding. I guess today is your day. So congratulations to both you two out there. Keep making some great kick-ass music and build the fan base for you. Anyway, enough of that. Carry on my politics now. I know I get angry. I threaten violence, but I'm just expressing myself, ladies and gentlemen. That is all. Just expressing myself in a wholesome, determined, peaceful manner. Right? Yes. I still want to smack him one. Anyway, carrying on with this episode. So we're seeing the unhingement on both sides of the border, too. And all the speculation over Mr. Blarney Carney and his lives. Of course, Ms. Freeland, talking about how she wants to have an allyship with other countries to gang up on Mr. Trump. Okay, good luck, Ms. Freeland. You had a chance to build up our services while you were sitting in the High Court of the Canadian Parliament, and you didn't do a damn thing, especially as Foreign Affairs Minister. Your idea of sharing is giving money to certain villages, worrying about transgenderism, rather than actual food and water. But I'm digressing. So we're seeing the unhingement on both sides of the border. In a way, I can agree with Mr. Trump's statement. Let's get a deal on the go here now, too, because nobody wants to see a brutal war except for the military industrial complex. Everyone are that, except for people like you and me, my American friends, British friends, so on and so on and so on. So we got to smarten up and ask the tough questions again. Next week, we're going to decide who's going to be the new Liberal leader. Okay, I think it's March 9th. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen, I think on March 9th is the day where the Liberal Party will select its new leader and our defunct Prime Minister by default. And then Parliament is going to come back to work on the 24th of March. Now, I've said this before, the Governor General had any balls or any lady balls, she'd call everybody back to work now to get things on the go, because we haven't had a sitting government since fucking Christmas, before the Christmas break. Okay, I'm dropping live F-bombs because I'm getting mad at this shit that's being presented to us on a fake silver platter. And then there's a bunch of people out there that eat it up all the time, right? Oh, Cardi will do a wonderful thing. Yes. Oh, Krista Phelan. Oh, that's such a girl boss. Oh, Karina Gold. Oh, look at her. Look at her. Look at them all. They're fucking useless. Bayless. Useless. They're all useless. Okay? It's all deflection. Yeah? All the egg meat stings, all the Chuck Angus is out there. Useless. Useless. Okay? You talk a great game, but you don't lace up. Okay? All you do. Pictures out there of Yegmi Singh wearing the team managers and being ever so proud. It's like, buddy, do you even skate? I know you're quite the grappler and an MMA aficionado, but what else have you fought for in your life besides the Calistani idea? Okay? You, Chuck Angus, what have you fought for? You brag about your two uncles. How dare you use their service, and how dare you ride their coattails to justify your fucking behavior? You pitiful little man. Horrible little man. I too have grandparents that fought against, the Nazis. I had a distant uncle that fought against the communist Chinese. I've had the honor of meeting Vietnam vets who were reluctant to tell me some of their stories, but they did. Okay? And you're looking at a guy right here who saw his fair share of garbage in 2007. When you brag, buds, about your uncles doing these wonderful things fighting against the fascists, I know people I had to bury who fought against the Taliban. And there are friends of mine that are out with me today because of that dirty fucking war. People like you forget about it. So when you talk about what your uncles did, you insult them just like you insult us, the living and breathing vets. Get it? Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 28th of February. Enough of this anger, enough of this rage, but I've seen enough in my life to know that if another war comes, there's going to be good people who might have to do some bad things, and that is not good in any scenario, in any book, magazine article, in any story, in any news broadcast, or any fucking movie of the week. Understand? So, on that note, I will be around this weekend again. Hopefully, have another episode. I'll be more in a more positive light, right? Once again, congratulations to Nina and Oliver in England. All the best to you too. Hope your dreams come true. Great music. Right? And you got a fan here. I like what you guys do. Keep them up. Everyone else up there, do what you can in these trying times. Keep your wits about you. I know the weather's changing a bit. It's nice and warm and mild out here in Alberta. However, keep your warm kit on standby too, because there's another month of winter and then some. Keep your wits, which you can help you at trying times. You be the light. All of you be the light that manufactures darkness. We will overcome this and we will rise above this. And like I always say, ladies and gentlemen, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
I'll never forget. HUA, brothers and sisters. Heard, understood, acknowledged. Your journeys to you is all.